Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'll be taking a look at Forza Horizon 6 and I'll be using the Nvidia app to override frame generation to dynamic but up to 6x. Now this is something you can only do with the Nvidia app. You can't do this override from in the game. All you got to do is go to program settings, find Forza Horizon amongst the list. Then let's go to DLSS override frame generation mode. As you can see, I've got it to dynamic, going up to 6 when necessary. I'm trying to hit a target of 240 FPS. Now, just to make it clear, I have a LG G5 and it only has a 144 Hz refresh rate because it's the 48 inch, whereas the 55 and above go up to 165. But the point is, there are 240 Hz 4K displays out there. And I thought I would set the cap to 240 FPS to kind of simulate that and see if dynamic frame generation can give you a playable, decent experience while using up to 6x frame generation. Now, the idea behind dynamic frame gen is once you achieve that target frame rate, it can back off the multiplier so you can go down to maybe 4 or 3 when the action's not heavy. And in turn, you'll save latency and reduce increased responsiveness. So let's see how that works. I'm just going to jump into Forza Horizon 6 and see how this dynamic frame generation plays out. Okay guys, so I got Forza all loaded up now. I'm just going to go through the in-game settings. So starting off with resolution, you can see I'm playing at 3840 by 2160, unlock frame rate, no VSync, no frame rate cap. So I'm also using DLSS to get access to DLAA, so no upscaling, just deep learning anti-aliasing. Frame generation says 2x here, but of course I'm overriding it from the Nvidia app, so this setting essentially doesn't matter, but you do need to have frame generation enabled for this to work. Now, when it comes to the actual graphic settings, I've got everything in extreme using ray tracing and not screen space reflection quality. When it comes to reflections, and of course with the global illumination, it's the same deal, using ray trace global illumination rather than screen space. So the game visually is maxed out. Okay. So, as you can see right now, it's using a factor of 3x dynamics frame gen to get to that target of 240 FPS. Even though it's not always hitting it, it stays at 3x. Now, if I get into a race where it's maybe raining and it's nighttime, its flares going, it might need more than 3x, but we'll see. Right now, you can see that average latency is in the 30s, and that's actually pretty good for a driving game that you're using. Well, I'm at least using my DualSense PlayStation 5 pad. I know some people use the wheel on this game.
Turn left.
But it doesn't cause you to have any kind of negative experience. Now, whether or not there's artifacts or the actual visuals become a little bit softer, that could also be a possibility depending on how much frame generation is being used. But right now, at least, it looks fine.
Turn left.
I don't often use frame generation, but I do like to experiment with the dynamic frame generation. And as you can see right now, I'm using 4x because this is needing a bit more processing power to achieve that 240 FPS target. So you can see it working in real time, which I think is pretty cool. I'm also happy to see that we're getting DLSS 4.5 ray reconstruction support in August. So there was a lot of people were saying that we potentially won't be getting a new ray reconstruction model, but it doesn't seem that that's the case. And DLSS is going from strength to strength, so it's good to see, and I'm looking forward to putting that to the test when that becomes available. We're meant to be getting DLSS 5 sometime at the end of the year as well, so there's a lot going on. So yeah, AI seems to be here to stay, at least from Nvidia's point of view, so you can either embrace it or you can hate it, but I think there are some scenarios where it works pretty well. Okay, 4 kilometers to go. Still haven't seen any more than 4x, but this feels incredibly smooth to drive. I've been loving Forza Horizon 6, by the way. That blend of urban and rural Just feels so good. And when you're in the countryside, taking in the vistas, and then you're thrust back into the city doing all these tight turnings, and everything's so close when you're going down those alleyways. It just adds a different experience compared to the Mexico map. There's a collectible over here that I need to try and get. But it is on top of a hill, so maybe I'll try and do this one another time. Right, back down to 3x now. So some parts of the map is obviously a lot more demanding than others. Let me just grab this collectible. 1.9 kilometers to go. Who the hell is bothering me? Oh, he wants a race. You know, we could. Let's do the race. We get a bit closer. You know what? No, I'm not going to let you interrupt what I'm doing. Maybe another time. I try to grab all the collectibles I can. You do get some good prizes for doing it. Anyway, I need to get past this speed trap at 120 miles per hour to get 3 stars, so I need to really try and lock in my top speed here.
Turn left.
I trust it to be an off-road scenario. This car isn't built for off-road, so I may have to change car. I'll try my best.
You've arrived at your destination.
Hopefully I got at least 1 star. I got 1 star out of it. Anyway, let's try a natural race now where there's more cars around. So that way it's going to be a lot more intense. So there is a road race right here. So I can just fast travel to that. Actually, yeah, I'll just fast travel to this. And see what kind of multiplier will be required to keep 240 FPS. Oh, it happens to be an event where I can use one of my supercars. So I'm going to use my Yardo LP570 for Spider, where all the other cars are doing ray trace reflections. It may potentially need 5x. Let's see. So far only 3x. After this I'll try like a street race where it's usually nighttime and there's loads of light sources going, so that might actually be the more demanding scenario. But right now we're using 4x frame gen. Now, these guys are pretty quick. I can't explain how incredibly smooth the game feels like this. It's definitely not a bad experience to play like this. Come on guys, get out of my way. Stop trying to hold me back. What is that, Lamborghini Countach or Diablo GT maybe? I'm not too sure. A lot of Lamborghinis in this race. Only enough, a Ferrari 40 is winning the race, or it was winning the race. Whoa. I thought it was a turn I could make without having to brake, but it was a lot sharper than in the map suggested. That's okay, I haven't lost any momentum. I'm sailing off into the distance. The game does work with a class system, so there is a little bit of wiggle room for you to upgrade and try to give yourself a bit of an advantage, and I've done that to most of my cars, which is why I'm able to sail off into the distance like this. But most of the time you're pretty much operating almost like a spec series. It feels that way most of the time, but there is a little bit of room depending on the car you pick to get that advantage. Okay, I want to try a street race now. Because this was a road race, they're usually in the daytime, the weather's usually quite good. The street race is at night time, usually raining. And I think that might be the most demanding scenario. Easy win.
Okay, Royal, what do you want to do now?
I'm gonna pick a race myself. There should be something nearby. Could always filter the map, but there's one just over here. It's not too far of a drive, so let's do this.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
So it really does depend on where you are on the map. As you can see, I haven't got a group of cars around me and I'm still using 4X frame gen here. There seems to be a XP board over here. I'm going to quickly grab this. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. You need to get experience so you can do the Horizon events, and I'm not too far away from the next one. But yeah, as I said, absolutely been loving Forza Horizon 6. Probably one of my favourite ones in the franchise. I just think the location just looks absolutely gorgeous.
You have arrived at your destination.
Okay, there is another collectible around here. Let's grab this. It's a bit tedious grabbing all of these, but again, you do get good prizes eventually for doing all of them. So it is worth doing. It's starting to rain now. Maybe I change the view, see if that has any impact.
400 meters. Turn left.
Doesn't seem to.
Turn left.
Just lost traction there a little bit. Anyway, we're arrived at the street race now.
You have arrived at your destination.
Okay, what cars can I choose? I think I might go with my Ferrari 458 Special. It's got a really good tune on it and it does well in these street races. Got an amazing traction. Okay, let's do this. Okay. As you can see, it's night time. Using around 4X frame gen. So the 5090 is obviously a very capable graphics card. Even with frame gen, even having 6X, more than likely you're never going to have to use it. Unless things are very dire. But if you have got a 240Hz display, it pretty much will ensure that you're always within that range to enjoy your refresh rate as often as possible. Because if it needed to go up to 6X, it could. Oh, that was a hard turning to hold on to. At least these guys are making me work for it. Sometimes the race is a little bit easier when you choose lower class cars, but I think I'll be fine with my Ferrari. It's very, very well balanced. Okay, I'm at the front now. Let's see if I can hold the lead. tight right-hander. Had to be ready for that one. But yeah, getting away from the crowd now. I guess they can't deal with the acceleration of the 458 Special. With this tune, whoever made it, I can't remember who, but they really tuned the gears ratio to perfection. And you can pretty much hit 160 miles per hour in maybe 3 or 4 gears. Yeah, 4X seems to be the sweet spot for the RTX 5090 hitting 240 FPS. Now, if I increase that dynamic frame limit to, let's say, 360 Hz or 360 FPS, more than likely we'll definitely hit that 6X. But, you know, I don't see much use case for 360 Hz at 4K. It doesn't seem like it's something that's going to be very achievable, especially by rasterization standards. Anyway guys, just wanted to give you a look at multi-frame gen on Forza Ryzen 6, or dynamic multi-frame generation to be specific. I think it works very well. As you can see, latency even at 4X is kind of in the mid-30s, and you got nothing to worry about, especially when you're playing with a control pad or a wheel. It will be fine. This type of game I think works well with this technology. And I'm not even upscaling, I'm using DLAA to boot, so if you're worried about losing image quality, it's not something to be very concerned about. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for me. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.